Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and today is Wednesday, and I'm joined with my brother Zia and panelists. We are going to discuss the issues that are trending and the ones that are not trending. Let me take this opportunity nikaribishe wenzangu katika kipindi. Makobura, habari gani?
Asante sana. Niko salama mimi hapa, nashukuru Mola. Natumai hadi nyinyi mko salama. Na nachukua fursa kukaribisha wenzetu ambao watakuwa wanatutazama jioni hii ya leo. Asante.
Asante sana kwa hayo. Na ndugu yangu Baraka, habari gani? Maisha iko vipi na gani jipya katika eneo ambao wewe uko?
Niko salama ndugu Ben, na nimefurahi kukua hapa jioni ya leo. Baridi tu ndio imelemea watu Nairobi leo, na naona kila mtu amevaa jacket kubwa kubwa. Unaweza fikia ni kama winter imefika Nairobi. Na siasa pia nachapwa hapa na pale, kwa hivyo kiboreka na kushindwa lemewa na baridi, unapiga siasa kidogo na maisha yanaendelea.
Asante sana. Miguda, habari gani?
Niko salama kakangu. Hali iko vyema, labda nyinyi?
Si tuko shwari. Labda jambo geni ambao labda uko kwako?
Kwangu vile pia pali niko saizi kuna mvua kidogo. Nasikia Waswahili wanasema rasha. Sasa pale niko na rasha. Na lakini hakuna baridi kama pali Barak na Makobura wako. Lakini vile Barak amezungumza ni vizuri. Unajua mimi niliamka leo jana nilala late, lakini kuamka leo pia niliamka late. Nikakutana na vitu zingine hapo za siasa, akasema sasa hii ndio siasa, mambo imechemka.
Unajua siasa zetu ni zile syllabus ya siasa yetu ni syllabus ambayo inaenda kwa kasi sana. Unajua ukiwa ni yule mtu ambaye anakuwa ni polepole ama tuseme kwamba wewe ni mtu ambaye si wa zile 100 meters, utapata kwamba umebakia. Wacha tuchukue nafasi hii pia tushukuru kabisa Gibson Kona na kuona hapo. Asante sana, naona kwamba umetoa maoni, tutaziangalia na tuzijadili ama tuzipigie msasa. There are so many things that are happening in the country talking about politics. Yesterday, Edwin Sifuna, the Secretary General of ODM, had an interview explainer with in one of the national television, and there are so many things that came out as a ODM Secretary General. We will look into that, and what does he have, or what picture or message is he sending, knowing very well that ODM and UDA are working under 10-point agenda, which also he dismissed that point agenda was dead immediately Albert Ojwang died on the cell. So that is something that we are not going to discuss. But before we discuss that, there's something here that I want you to assist me on, weigh your thoughts on. I don't know how true it is, because we've seen the government, especially the members of the MPs, I would say, that are allied to government, have been going around the country, doing what we call development, and mostly the development has targeted the women. But there's something that happened in Kisii that was so, to me, it was surprising me, and I say that how could it be? There's a photo that I'm seeing, a video that is going around on internet, especially on the women empowerment that took place in Kisii. And for your information, if you listen to some of these empowerment programs, you will get to know that maybe somebody will say president gave this amount of money, and on that empowerment day, almost over 10 million or more than 10 million, I tell you, sometimes can be contributed. But to my surprise, I don't know whether you saw the photo whereby women were saying there were around 31 women and they were given something like around 2,000 Kenya shillings to share amongst themselves. And that is empowerment. I don't know how, and if that is true, then I don't know whether what kind of empowerment can you do with almost 64 shillings? It doesn't make sense for me. Or that is somebody was trying to play politics with it. And I would start with Barak. Barak, what is your thought, especially when you see our mothers who are being empowered, they're given 2,000 shillings. 60, I think 31 of them to share 2,000 shillings, which means approximately they are going to get like 64, if I'm not wrong.
I think even if they have been given 5,000 each,
yeah,
that is not empowerment. That is what we call politics of poverty. And I've said here some time back that this politics of poverty that this deputy president and his team are engaging with is a national disaster, a national shame for this government. I think it was just a way to keep Kindiki engaged, because I don't think he was having a lot of work to do. And there are figures that are very prominent in this empowerment politics of poverty. One of them is Farouk Kibet, and another one is the deputy president. And if you look at even the speaker has joined them, and some CS also joined this bandwagon.
Yeah.
And another prominent figure is Kimani Ichung'wah and Silvanus Osoro. So this politics of poverty is not what should be expected from a government that is working, because you cannot tell me that you are going to distribute or to give handouts to women groups, youth groups, and you are saying that you are empowering them. Government should come up with initiative and an enabling environment for citizens to thrive with their own businesses, their own investments. But this issue of bringing women together and giving them 2,000 shillings, or even now it could say it's 64 shillings, it's an embarrassment, and it's politics of poverty that can never develop any society. It's just keeping people talking and dancing to them. Waishimiwa, you are dancing, and after dancing, you are going home with 64 shillings. It's a shame, and I don't think that it's meant to help anybody. Even if it's done up to 2027, it's not going to help anybody. Yeah, that's my take. Let me say good evening to Gypsy Corner, and thank you for joining us, Gypsy Corner. Asante.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. And and the people who are driving this is the deputy president is the head of this campaign. And to something worth noticing is that everywhere he goes, the president has also to send his contribution. So my question is, if, for example, like we would say that president has given almost like, this is an example, we say that he has given like 1 million or 3 million, those people are collecting. So you are coming, and like that day alone, we can get almost like over 10 million, or if not 10 million, around 15 million, or give it less on the lesser side, give it around 8 million. Out of 8 million, then a group of 31 women group, or 31, a group of women that you're given 2,000. How even somebody in these right senses would try to give, and what are they going to get, and where is the majority of that money going? That is something that we it is, and the same time you find that the leaders are talking of how they want to change the economy. How can you change the economy yet even anyway? Miguda, what is your take on it?
I look at it whereby you find out that the office of the deputy president is now trying to work separately with the office of the president. It's like William Ruto'S decided to put Kindiki and the allies into their place. Now it's just like it's a one-man show whereby he's running the executive by himself, and they decided to separate his boys and friends outside. So these people decided to come with a program like empowerment. And when you go into deep blue, the way you have delved into it, you find out that it is not realistic considering the amount of money being contributed and which is being divided amongst the supporters or the groups. It doesn't make sense, because like I don't know, sometimes you feel to understand some people, and you find people are more, they're clapping, and even we question the allocation of that money. And is it budgeted for? Do we do budgets for empowering women in this country, or do we do budget to empower people, maybe buy them those things used to buy those constituents? So to me, I can just say it's a politics of whereby you just try to entice you try to entice the local, so that and you make it a PR whereby to look like you are kuinua wanawake, unainua wanawake, so that women can be, it's a matter of doing a section of people so that other people can buy that. Okay, hii serikali inainua wanawake, let us vote for it because inainua wanawake. So I think it's just more of a PR, and it's not in the real sense actually doesn't make sense.
But Miguda, unajua ukitaka kusema kwamba hii ni ile, labda tuseme kwamba jambo ambalo inafanya kwamba inainua wanawake kiuchumi zaidi, lakini unajua kama unainuka kiuchumi, huwezi kuwa kwamba unaona faida ya uchumi wewe mwenyewe kama uchumi ya nchi, ama tuseme kwamba mkakati ambao labda imewekwa ili uinuke kiuchumi haijawekwa sawa sawa. Unajua si vyema na iwezi fanya kazi, kwa sababu that is quite much logical, because like there is no way in which like you want to empower me, yet the system that have been put in place does not allow even that business to thrive. It doesn't work that way. Or
yeah. nakupata vizuri, ndio maana nilikuwa nasema kulingana na maoni yangu mimi naiona hivi, naiangalia kwa njia tofauti, ya kwamba ni kama unapata kuna zile vitu ambao wakati Rigathi Gachagua alikuwa naibu wa rais alikataa kuyatekeleza. Sasa ni kama Kindiki give in. Sasa wakati amesha give in, sasa amepangiwa ya kwamba wewe zungumzia mambo ya empowerment na wanawake. Sasa ni ukweli ya kwamba si kitu ya halali, na pia uchumi ya nchi haifanyi vizuri, na sasa wewe sema tunainua wanawake kiuchumi. Ndio sasa nimesema ni kama kulingana na mimi ni mambo na siasa. Okay. Mambo na siasa katika Kenya Kwanza.
Okay, asante sana Makuburu. Ukitaka kuzungumzia jambo hiyo, nataka uchukulie uangalie katika mkondo huu, au upatie jicho la tatu, kwa sababu unapata kwamba hapo awali wakati Rais William Ruto na aliyekuwa rais wa kwanza naibu wake ambao aling'atuliwa kwa mamlakani Rigathi Gachagua walikuwa naenda mkutano pamoja, na hii ilikuwa inafanya kwamba wote walikuwa wanapata maarufu. Unadhani hii inaweza kuwa ni njama rais anatumia labda kufanya Kindiki aonekane kama mtu ambaye afanya kazi mzuri? Kwa sababu unapata katika mambo haya yote ambayo inasema kwamba kuinua wanawake kiuchumi, hii unapata kwamba Kindiki ndio mtu anazungumziwa sana, sema kwamba hii jambo ambalo anafanya si nzuri, na unapata kwamba jina la rais si jambo ambalo watu wanazungumzia sana.
Okay, thank you so much. Allow me to also acknowledge the presence of Gypsy Corner at the comment section. And to our viewers, whoever is watching, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. For those of you who are watching for the first time, kindly just like and subscribe to the channel. It is a way of supporting us. Na sisi hapa tutasema asante. Okay, to my take on the question that you've asked, I think remember, Professor Kindiki was not elected by the people of Kenya. He was appointed by the president, and courtesy of that, he became the deputy president. Yeah. And, the people of Kenya did interact with the president and his former deputy, that is William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. The people also interacted with the opposition, or the person who never won, that is Raila Amolo Odinga and Martha Karua. So you find that while they were looking for these positions, they went through the country, and in one way or another, people got to understand the personality of these individuals. So after the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, I think it became known to the president and to his close allies that Professor was not really known by the people of Kenya in matters of politics. Of course, he was known here, but on matters of interaction with the people, he had not really interacted with the people. And I think that was brought forth after the impeachment, when people then started demanding that, started giving their take on what they thought about Professor, and they said that he's a weakling in matters of politics. He's not been very courageous in matters of, speaking on matters of politics. And I think that might be the reason why the president saw it wise that he sent then the deputy president to different counties to start interacting with the people. and they did not really have some projects or some serious developments that they would then use to introduce Professor Kindiki to the ground. So what they came up with is the issue of empowerment, where they would take some money and then invite some members of parliament and then invite some local groups, and they pretend, they act as if they are doing what we call empowerment. But the question I'm also asking is, well, the people of Kenya needs empowerment, but I think the core role of a government is to put the structures in order so that as much as they are coming up with the empowerment programs, there is much that they need to do. Remember, a government has what it takes. They control resources, they control quite a number of things, and they have the capability to come up with ways which can then ensure that the people feel or get empowered. I don't think the procedure that they are using, that is led by the deputy president and close allies or senior politicians in UDA, is the right way, because the role of a government that is in power, a government that controls everything, they can come up with structures, they can come up with laws, they can come up with all those things which can assist the people in the lower cadre of the economy, so that they are empowered economically, so that they can get the opportunity as well to prosper. But we are not seeing that. What we are seeing is a PR, high level PR, where money is collected and the money is told. They quote the amount of money that has been collected, but if you go deep, you get to understand what the 100 billion that they collected went. You will be surprised that there's no any group that got anything that makes sense. You saw the video that was trending that you're speaking about. The lady was given 2,000 shillings, and remember, there were around 30 or 31 groups, and she was then asking herself, how am I going to divide 2,000 to these other groups? According to her mathematics, the maths that she did, each of those people would get 65 shillings. And the question we're asking is that really empowerment? Is that really what is called what any group or any serious person would hope for, especially if you are genuinely getting out to the field to do what we call empowerment? I don't think that is the right way to go. This is high level PR that is being used by the government to confuse the people, to confuse them in this sense, to make them feel that we have a responsible government, a government that is keen on doing empowerment, a government that is keen about wale watu wa chini. Remember, this government came into power, they rode on the hustler narrative, and the explanation of the hustler narrative was that wale watu wa chini, wale watu wa bodaboda, wale mama mboga, they're trying to come up with that narrative again, but at the wrong time, because the promises which were given to the low cadre citizen is not being fulfilled, to an extent that the people on the ground themselves have gotten to understand that we were lied to, and we have accepted the reality that we were lied to. The government then understand very well that yes, we lied to them and things are not really working. But even if you lie to someone who does not have something, the following day you can just still come up with a strategy to find ways of making them believe that things might not have worked the other day. So that is the tactic the government is using, but I don't think it is working. I think my opinion is it is working against the government, and they should come up with another system or another way of doing what we call empowerment.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura, for that insight. And also, let me take this opportunity to thank everyone on the comment section. If you're watching us for the very first time, we are kindly requesting you to be part of the conversation. And being part of the conversation is just hitting that subscription button, and also on the comment section where you feel or something that you feel you should also share with us your view on this conversation. And that is what we want. And also, I can see my brother Joseph also is here. Joseph, how are you doing, sir?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. We were just about to go into the main discussion, and maybe in brief, you saw the video of women, especially that were given 2,000 shillings. They were supposed to share it amongst themselves. 31 of them, so which means somebody was going home with around 64 or something, 65 shillings. And this was an empowerment. And we were just asking, what kind of empowerment is this?
Good for them.
Okay, thank you.
Peleka nyumbani mkate.
Mkate empower.
65 shillings is equals to a bread. Utapelekea mtoto mkate. So let them see what they are seeing. You know, we always tell these people, stop these shenanigans. They are the ones who are giving strength to these politicians and this nonsense.
Yeah.
So when you saw another useless guy before I comment on that one of women.
Yeah.
Another useless guy is going there just because a person has died. Is when he knows that they can empower somebody else and they can be able to give them money. I'm talking about KK mwenyewe funeral.
Yeah.
You saw how people booed him, the likes of Itumbi, the way people booed him.
Yeah.
Because how can you come and tell us right now ndio umejua watu wanaweza empoweriwa? When you're in your safe haven office, you did not know. So for these ladies, I didn't see that. There is a day even you saw them going to the buses, watu wakiwaita wasaliti.
Yeah, I can remember.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. And like you find like now I think like the weakest link of the society has been like, I think like for the empowerment, it has been our mothers. That is the weakest links, because that is the highest population that I usually see the government is doing empowerment for. Anyway, that is a discussion for another day. And let me take also this opportunity to welcome everyone who is watching us. You can also engage us on the comment section so we can know your views, because we have great panelists here. We have Makobura, we have Megoda, and Barak, who we are going to share and at least give our views on things or issues that are trending on the nation, because our main focus here is to talk about issues and what are the solutions that we might share with you, because at the end of the day, the voters are the people to make decisions. We might give our views and we might have this conversation that is geared towards making Kenya a good country. Then, but when it comes to voting, it is wanasema kwamba kura yako ni siri yako. Asante sana. So yesterday, you remember Edwin Sifuna, the SG of ODM, had an interview, and it was exclusive in one of the TV stations in the country. And there's so many things that came out from that interview. And I want to bring you back, especially on the role of the SG, or what always the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga has said about the role of the AG. Remember when Ngongono Were was being buried, there's something that Raila Odinga said about the role of the AG, that he speaks for the party. So everything that the AG speaks, he speaks for the party. And yesterday we saw him, he was having an interview, and there's some issues that came out of that interview that we will talk about. And remember, this is coming after the Right Honorable Prime Minister had an interview with another television in the country. And this the analysis that is going on, some people have this view that they felt that in the interview that happened between that happened with the Right Honorable Prime Minister, it did not have the punchline. So they needed Edwin Sifuna or somebody from ODM to come and, wipe out, or to say, to validate some of the issues that were being talked about. But from my own observation, both the two interviews were talking of two different things. If you look at the one for the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Raila was speaking as Raila Odinga. He was trying to speak like Raila Odinga. Okay, this is what I have for this country. This is what I have to do for the country. But now, Edwin Sifuna now was coming on behalf of the party now, speaking on what party stand for and what is going on in the party. Among other issues that were I picked on there, he said, some of the things that he said, what the party leaders say is the position of the party. That is what he said. If they stick with Ruto, we will not give the ODM party to prepare for the next general election, among other things. Unpopular regime, working. This is an unpopular regime to work with. When I give up, I will let you know. There is a lot of confusion. We've compromised our value. I want to apologize for the confusion of leadership in the party. So that's among some of the issues that we picked from that interview. And I would want to start with you, Barak, looking at it in the position of a party secretary general, who is the mouthpiece of the party, and what the Edwin Sifuna spoke. Do you think Edwin Sifuna is on his way out, or Edwin Sifuna was having this interview under instruction, and these are the things that you're going to speak about?
Well, thank you for that, Brother Ben. You know, if you listen to Edwin Sifuna yesterday, and as with the understanding of his position in the party ODM, and we were talking about political parties the other day, and we say that ODM is one of in fact, it's the only strongest party in Kenya right now, that has lasted for 20 years. I think this is the 20th year since it was formed. And it is the only party that has gone to election consistently, even though using other coalition, it has maintained its identity. So that makes it a very serious political party in the democratic space that we enjoy in this country. So the position that Sifuna hold, the SG is the senior most position in a political party or in any organization, apart from the party leader. So when the SG of a political party contradicts the party leader, then it sends signals of a problem within the leadership of that political party. So listening, comparing yesterday's interview with the party leader's interview, you will realize that there was some contradiction when it comes to the working relationship between ODM and UDA. And that is now where the bone of contention is, because you realize that Sifuna, apart from being the SG of the party that is working with UDA, he has some differences that were coming out very clearly, and you could see if you understand how to read body language. When he was asked any question about his Ruto, he will be so personal to an extent that he said that Ruto does not have his phone number, therefore he cannot call him, because according to how he has set his phone, if you don't have his number, you cannot call him. So you find that there's something more than meets the eyes in terms of the personal relationship, now leaving the working relationship between the two political parties. However, that notwithstanding, I think that there's something that he was communicating which are valid, and they were written in the MOU, things to for example, ending police brutality, for example, ending abduction, these things that are touching on the Bill of Rights. These are things that I think the ODM has been standing for many years.
Yeah.
They have been known to be fighting for human rights, and I think that the 10 points that were in that MOU that are touching on the Bill of Rights, I think they've been consistently violated by the regime, either knowingly or unknowingly, or not being able to apply any other means apart from the means that they are used to, of using excessive force, maybe to counter violence, or maybe using excessive force to quell violence. That is the only way that they understand, and that also comes in line with our security agent, our national police service, the training that they have, and you've had the president consistently saying that, blaming the parents and not the police, because they're saying that police are not trained to deal with children or to babysit children, but police are trained to deal with criminals. So, and he asked, well, if you surrender your children to the police, so what do you expect? So that justifies the force that police is using against maybe protesters or so. In that context, you find that you realize that Sifuna is right to raise such issues because he's the SG and he signed that document on behalf of the party as the SG, because those two documents were signed by the party leader and the secretary generals. So that shows you how serious that position is. But now coming on the other issues that talking about the future of the party, I don't think Sifuna is more concerned on the future of ODM than the party leader himself, because this party is Raila's property in simple terms. In Mali Raila. So he has built it for over the years using sweat and blood, and he has gone through a lot of struggle to ensure that this party survives for 20 years. So I don't think that the future of ODM, that Sifuna is more concerned about the future of ODM than the party leader, and maybe he's more concerned about his job more than the future of the party, because this party feeds so many people. There are there are people who are used to telling Raila, go and vie so that they can hang on that, and they will ride on that and they will get elected. But if you ask them even what they're going to do after being elected, they have no idea, and they don't care whether Raila is going to lose or not, because they know as long as he's vying, then they will use that and to get seats for themselves. But when it comes now to Raila himself being elected, I can assure you, I'm sure that even most of them will not wish him to be elected, so that they can continue urging him to vie again. You are still young. It is not they think that he's still young, he can be elected. And you could see even Sifuna yesterday saying that Raila stands a big chance of winning 2027 against Ruto. And you know that is not true. That is not true. But because you know that if that can sell, and maybe other ODM leaders, not only leaders, politicians, will ride on that, and they will get re-elected, and Raila will lose again, and they will start now saying, "Oh, sijui nini." So those are the things that I can say that were coming out very clearly from that interview.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Barack. Just hold on. I will engage you. And Joseph, I want also to engage you on this, because I hope and believe that you had an opportunity to listen or watch the interview that took place before that. That is the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, and the one that happened now about Edwin Sifuna. And if you compare the two, there must be something that they're speaking of. That is one thing about a committee that was supposed to be put in place that Raila spoke about, and Edwin Sifuna also confirmed about it and said that, okay, I'm not going to be part of that committee. If you look at the way Edwin Sifuna was speaking and the way he was arguing his points, do you see him as a person that he's on his way out and is doing this because, like, if he leaves, he will get that sympathy vote, or he's somebody who was working under instruction, trying to paint the picture that was created on the previous interview by the party boss?
Yes, thank you, my brother, for that question. I believe the mongrel, the mongrel in the room is mongrelling. What do we say? It's mongrelling. The skunk is already in the party. Because you cannot be your SG of a party, and the chairperson of the party is talking another thing. Your vice chairperson is talking another thing. You as the SG are talking from the different script. And the party leader is saying that he's supporting both sides, because if he's not supporting the both sides, Brother Benson, Sifuna could be out by now. We know how ODM works. Sifuna could be out by now. You could be seeing them calling him for disciplinary actions. So I believe when Sifuna is talking, he has no, it is Raila who is talking. And the problem is, I don't know now how we are going to take it, because now if they continue like this, ODM, you know, ODM is to say the truth, is the longest party which has stayed. It is 20 years. I think it is at the blink of collapse.
Yeah.
If it goes by this rate, I think it's the blink of collapse. And to answer your question,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you asked me about. Can you repeat, please, the question?
The question I was asking you for the second one was like, if you compare the first interview, you know, like you saw what happened in the first interview. If you look at it, the Right Honorable Prime Minister did not have a pickup. You know, like it was very flat interview from on how the analysis or our political analysts are looking at it. And now Edwin Sifuna was just coming to make sure that now let me wrap it up so that we can focus so much on the Edwin Sifuna one, but not what the Right Honorable Prime Minister say.
Yeah, I think the first interview from Raila was to support the government. The interview was pro-government. You could listen to the words that Raila was talking. You could hear it is pro-government, and it was pro-conclave and pro 2027. He said he's going to support Ruto till 2027. But the second one, it was to come and try to cool the tensions. You know, when you see there is unajua after Raila aliongea, there was some you had some chatter, people not agreeing, people even we came here and we said we came here as a panel and said that Raila should stop telling us that the NADCO report was the one that that introduced. There's a debate we were discussing here about the NADCO. You can remember. So I think this one was just to quell the tensions, because there is somebody who asked me a question today when we were discussing, and he told me, how can it be that Sifuna got a one-on-one himself? Because the way we know Sifuna is a person who likes to be engaged in a room where there is people discussing issues. Then the second question he asked me, how can it be that these people can be only after 2 days, you hear Raila, Sifuna is talking after Raila has talked.
When we come to the one-on-one, especially if you look at that that program, it's usually called the explainer, and the majority of time, I think Yvonne Okora usually hosts one person. I don't know, right? So it becomes like it's a very detailed conversation whereby you get an opportunity to dig in as compared to the conversation that is usually hosted normally on the TV or the morning shows and the breakfast show. So I think this one was more detailed. So it requires maybe you should have one person to give more insight. Or how about that? Or it was like something to give more insight about the ODM.
No. What I saw, Brother Benson, I saw an interview that was pro people. It was pro. We want to show you that the conclave. That we want to show you that the things that were being said, that we are following the government, and because you had him even being asked a question, are you inside the government? And he said these questions have been asked too many times, and people should know for themselves. So and he talked something he touched on something that was very crucial. If everybody had that is when you could know what Sifuna was saying. Sifuna said clearly that ODM is a party that has been built for opposition. You heard him saying like that. Is a party that is built with the mechanism for opposition. And he said clearly that wamekuwa wakifanya demonstration. You heard him saying that?
Yes.
Hiyo chama wamekuwa wakifanya demonstration. So if you needed to know all the insight, just take only that statement and you'll know. So it's like they are not. Raila is trying to see how the situation is, so that he can maybe before he bolts, he can know how he's going to bolt the.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for your insight. And I know we will also look at the angle of exit, especially for ODM or Edwin Sifuna. Maybe one of them can exit. Edwin might exit the memorandum of understanding and leave the ODM SG and become an ODM member, or the entire ODM might leave the UDM. So, Miguda, let me come to you before I come to Makobura and Laban. We are sharing the link. Miguda, when you listen the two interviews, especially there's one that if you listen to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, he was justifying the reason why he decided to join the government, or the reason why they decided to give some breathing life to the government. He talked about the experts, and Edwin Sifuna was not talking about that. Yeah, Edwin Sifuna was talking about the reason they feel it was not worth joining. And for your information, Edwin Sifuna, when he was asked about the expert, he told them to look at the portfolio of the experts. And that is something that also we are going to talk about the experts. What is their portfolio saying? Which he did not dive into details, but in political analysis, we can look at what they've done during their tenure, especially like even the CS for Treasury during his tenure as a member of parliament, 15 years and 2 years as a nominated member of parliament. We will dive into that. So do you feel like Edwin Sifuna and the Orange Democratic Movement are holding in brief, and holding in brief in that they are holding the same people who are the ODM members who are supporting the government, they're accommodating their views. Those who are not in agreement with the supporting the government, they're also accommodating their views through Sifuna. Do you think that is a scenario?
That could be the scenario, but I have a different look at it, because when I watched the interview, I also tried to flash back, because I was keen about the interview, and I took notes whereby Sifuna said the removing William Ruto is a national priority.
Yeah.
That one must be underlined, because Sifuna was trying to explain that before the experts were donated, they had a discussion that let us have a transition whereby the people can be given an opportunity to have their leader. So William Ruto could exit after the Gen Z have protested and there was a breach of parliament. But William Ruto refused. After he declined, Raila say, okay, we can just sustain this government for first term, then we will see what to do in the near future. And also, Raila spoke in Luo sometimes back that we know where we have come from, we know where we are, and know where we are going. Things, he said that, and I quote, things are the way they are, do not panic. We know ourselves. When that right time comes, we will decide where to bolt. So what I'm trying to say as a panelist is that, to me, William Ruto ni mjanja. Let me use that Swahili word. William Ruto is a cunning politician. Maybe Raila's read through, because Gachagua informed us earlier that they discussed Raila with Ruto that we are going to deal with this mzee, and we are going to lie about the say you see, then we take him around, then we abandon him. Mm-hmm. Similarly, we also say that he will make sure that he swallowed ODM, that EODM nitaimaliza. So Raila might have seen through. Now because he's acting as a cunning, now Raila might be also try to be cunning that there's no way I'm going to lose my ODM party. There's no way you are going to abandon me as mzee. So either way, Raila is saying, well, let us also be cunning. We are in government, we are out of government. So Sifuna, just hold in brief, while the experts are also at the executive. Because you had what Sifuna said, that those experts are actually implementing the KK agenda, not ODM. And it was very categorical that even John Mbadi is a CS for Treasury. The ODM should be given around 11 billion. They haven't been given. John Mbadi, the CS for Treasury, and he came from ODM. So those things are Ruto's things. They don't care about what's happening on this. Those are the Ruto's government Ruto's things. So to me, I might be wrong, but I'm just saying from the way I look at things that maybe they try to work smart.
Thank you so much. So you believe that they are just trying to work smart to make sure that their base is intact, because there's those who are aligning themselves to Edwin Sifuna, because even yesterday he confessed that there are people who are saying that it's because of you in the top leadership, that's why we are still here. And also, if you listen to the other side, there are people who are saying that since Baba is here and Baba is always the law, so we will always be here. So like all these two factions, I mean, in ODM, all are holding in brief, and the day that they will have a conversation or have a consensus and they say, okay, let's come together, they will come together and form or come back and start to forge forward for their re-election or for their presidential election, or they will confront one person to run for presidency. Okay, Makubura, let me also engage you, because like there's something that Edwin Sifuna spoke about, especially the profile of the experts. And I think this one was so much detail. And if you look at the profile of experts, we have two governors who have worked talk of Honorable Excellency Oparanya, who has worked. We also have Joho. We also have Mbadi, who has been a member of parliament for 15 years as an elected member. He has also been a member of parliament for 2 years as an nominated member of parliament. And talk about also who, again, Opio Wandai, who has been a member of parliament and also holded a minority. And if you look at their past in terms of how they used to deal with government and criticize President William Ruto, more so to Mbadi, Honorable Mbadi, and Opio Wandai. And now you are seeing that change of tune. And look at their profile in terms of development. That is something also we have to talk about. When you look at Mbadi, in terms of development, 15 years, is there something to show? When you look at Opio Wandai, is there something to show? Oparanya, Joho, and the rest of them. What is your take on that specific when Edwin was evoking their profile?
Okay, thank you so much. And Barak has always said something here that there are some politicians who are technocrats in. There are some politicians who are good in legislation, and those are the likes of, for example, yes, always mentioned here, the likes of the governor of Siaya County. When you take him to the side of legislation and the lawmaking, he has always shined. He has always done much. He has always come up with, very interactive and good laws which have really shaped how this country has been run, not once but several times. So, but on the other hand, when you give them, the role of being a CEO, management, you will automatically see them, not really doing well. The reason I was bringing that question is there are so many questions which have been asked by the people. For example, if you remember the critical stance that Opio Wandai had while he was serving as the whip. I think he was serving as the whip in the last parliament, if I'm not wrong. He led the NASA then. Was it NASA? Ilikuwa inaitwa NASA, if I'm not wrong. He led them out of the parliament when some bills were being passed by, the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and not once, several times. He was even sent away from parliament for a period of some months, and he was actually not earning in that period. And then just the other day before they got into the government, the stand that he had, he would come and say that this government is not performing, and this government should be taken home. You remember when people were going for demonstration the other day, the stand that Opio Wandai had, immediately got into government, it changed. Let me give you another example. Nyang, the current minister of finance, he was also a politician who would incite, let me use that term, and the critical stance that he would take within ODM would be followed without fear or anything. And they're the people who actually partly shaped, ODM in matters of the high seriousness that we've always seen in the ODM part. You come to Oparanya. Oparanya, I hear that at some point he was a member of a cabinet secretary in the other government. I was not very much active in politics by then, but I heard he was a member of, he was a cabinet, he was a minister, and they are the people who assisted Kibaki in doing so many things. The other time, of course, you remember he has served as a governor for 2 terms. And he's among the governor who actually worked well. He was rated one of the top governors. But when he got into the government, he has been silent. Let me come to Joho. Joho has been the deputy party of ODM, also worked as a governor for 2 terms. And I think my take, I'm just giving my take. I think this gentleman got into this government at the wrong time. And the reason why they got into this government at the wrong time is because they entered a government that was already rotten. Let me use that language. Because because this is a government that already had problems. The people of Kenya were had so many accusations to this government. The people of Kenya, not just on matters of running the country, but matters of human rights.
Yeah.
The young people, remember the Gen Zs, the youths, they kept on, they had started criticizing the government in almost every social media platform. And that led to what we call the biggest first demonstration that was led by the youths when they were demanding for withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024. What does that tell you? It tells us that it is true that these gentlemen got into this government, but they found it at a point where it was they were unable to save it, and for that reason they have kept on being in this government without fear of course, harming and getting all the insults at the same time from the people.
Can you check your internet, Mr. Makobura? Then come back. Kindly.
My network dropped.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, can you check your net? Then you can log in. Check your net. Barak, as Makobura is checking his net, there's something that I want you to also help us understand, because now of everything, because now of what has happened, when you look at on how, especially now, ODM members are speaking, when you listen to Governor Wanga, Governor, from her speech, it paint for you a picture of ODM working with President William Ruto until 2032. When you listen to Baba has a picture that showing you that, okay, we are here up to 2027. Then after that, we will make a decision. When you listen to Edwin Sifuna is something that we are here to live right now. We are not even working on this, like we are not there. We are on our own. And how will this one affect the trustability and believability of people with ODM, bearing in mind what they've always stood for? And if you remember very well, again, the second one about the issue of protesting, whereby Edwin Sifuna went even under after Esther Passaris, especially with the bill. Then he says that what we are known for demonstration, and somebody's just coming with a bill to undermine what we've always fought for. How is this one affecting those trustability, believability, to know that who is telling us the truth? Where should we believe in? Who should we believe amongst these three? Because these are leadership. They're not communicating from one point. Yeah, they're not communicating like one thing. Everybody's communicating his own view in the party.
Well, thank you, Brother Ben, for that. I think in the Kenyan political landscape, it is very difficult for politicians to believe in each other, because the political landscape have been shifting, and sometimes even it is very difficult for them to predict what will happen in the coming year. So even this divergent views that we are hearing coming from the same party, it is because of specific interests. Everybody speaking according to their own interest, not the interest of the party. That's why I've said there is no party member or party leader who, there's no member in the ODM or in any other political party who cares so much about the interest of the party more than the party leader. Because the political party structures in Kenya is that party leaders own the political parties. It is not the members. And that's why you see even the chairperson, the secretary general, organizing secretary, and so on and so forth. They are not elected by anybody. They're just handpicked by these party leaders because they serve their own interest. It is not about the people. It is not about the party members. It's about the party leader. And that is why I still insist that no member of any political party can be so worried about the future of that party, apart more than the party leader. Now, when you listen to Gladys Wanga speaking, she's the chair of ODM, but when she's speaking, she's looking at her interest and the interest of the people that she's leading, people from Homa, because she was elected by the people of Homa Bay to lead them. And if she's able to use her relationship with Ruto, or the relationship that ODM has with that is in government, to ensure that she advances her own interest, that is why you can see, you can hear her say that we are together, we are supporting Ruto until 2030, because she's looking at her own interest and maybe the interest of the people that she represents. Now, when you hear Sifuna say the same thing, that we are bolting out of this, in fact, we could have bolted out yesterday. We are very late in terms of bolting out. She's also looking at his own interest, because it is not about the party, because the party leader is just sitting there. I don't know if you've had you've seen any country where someone who's not in government is attending the retreat of the cabinet, because when the cabinet retreated last time, I think Raila was there and he addressed that cabinet meeting. And you know, according to our constitution, cabinet members are known: the president, deputy president, and the cabinet secretaries, and the secretary of the cabinet, and the attorney general. But Raila attended the cabinet retreat, and he even addressed that cabinet retreat in Karen. So it shows you that ODM, the party leader of ODM, is at the heart of the government, because he cannot attend cabinet retreat if he's not part of the government. And when he is speaking, he's also looking at either side, because he has been in this politics for many years, and he knows that sometimes things might change. So let my one leg be outside and the other leg inside, and see either way. So he is ready to jump out or to jump in. So depending with the political landscape of the country, and and that has happened before. People have betrayed each other politically, depending on the mood of the ground and the political realignment. And that is why you've seen that sometimes we elect leaders who are not representing anything, because of that political realignment and euphoria, and the people vote them in, and then after some time, then they want them out again. So because we don't look at what leaders stand for when we are voting them, we just look at the current situation. For example, yesterday Sifuna said that removing Ruto is a national priority. And if Matiang'i can help us to remove Ruto, so be it. We will use Matiang'i, remove Ruto, then we'll sort out anything else later. Now, the question is, when we use someone to remove their other person, then the person that we are replacing him with turns out to be even worse than the one that we removed. So we also use others to remove him, and the circles continue. So you find that because of this mentality, yeah, we will end up using people to remove leaders. Then after 1 year, we use others to remove. So we find that there is no time we'll sit as a country and focus on what is really ailing us as a country. Because you might realize that Kenya's problem is not even an individual. Kenya's problem is systemic. It is entrenched in the system that has been there for many years. And if we do not change that system and we continue changing individuals, nothing is going to work out for us as a country, because it is not about an individual. This individual will come, they will find the system is there, they will be swallowed by the system, and they will play with the system. They will be removed, others will come, join the system, and that circle will continue. And I can assure you, there is no individual who will come in and do as the people's wishes. And that's why you'll always see, when a president is in power, he is hated. And when another president comes in, people are so optimistic. And when they come in and join the system, they find that it is not possible to do whatever they were talking about. So you ask ourselves, what is really the problem? Yeah, if it's about individual, how many individuals have we had at the presidency level? When Uhuru Kenyatta was the president, remember, he was being told by each and every day, Maliza Wenda, he even ran away from the social media because of the backlash that he was receiving there, the kind of attack that he was receiving. So people told him, Maliza Haraka Wenda, and people believed that Ruto was coming to be the messiah of this country. And even the songs from South Africa, Freedom is Coming Tomorrow, was played. Yeah. And when Ruto got into office, 1 year down the line, we want him out as soon as yesterday, because it is not about changing, and it's about the system. So if we are not willing to talk about the system that is ailing this country and how we can transform it so that whoever comes in is not consumed by this system, but is able to work freely and maybe realize the economic dream of this country and maybe the universal human rights that we are crying about. But if it's about individuals, I can assure you, we will be removing them each and every now, and no one is going to satisfy us as a citizens. Thank you.
Let me just engage you somewhere here, because you've talked about dealing with the system, because like we've had that system that we don't change our system, but we change the leadership that comes in, or those who are and who are enabling this, because like who is enabling this, because especially when the same system, especially to be when we go to election, you know, we see how it's usually being carried out, whereby even the results that usually are contested, we don't believe that they are actual voting of actual numbers of the voters. Yeah. So you find that even the prime minister would complain about the system, and at the end of the day, you still say, okay, let me put the interest of the country first, then let's work together right now. Then we go to dialogue or talk about anything that, then we forget to cure that system. Then we went to election. We just came again. We come back again on that. Then we do like that. How can we make sure that we dismantle that system and put in a new one?
Thank you, Ben. You know, when we talk about system, it's not about, you know, we focus so much on electoral system, and we forget that there are so many systems that are intertwined to perpetuate whatever is happening in this country.
Yeah.
For example, if you look at the regimes that have been, we are now in the 5th regime.
Yeah.
Every regime have been having their own economic blueprint and economic pillars that they've been advancing. From Kenyatta regime to Moi regime, Kibaki regime, who came up with even this Vision 2030, and Kenyatta 2 regime, Uhuru Kenyatta regime. Now, look at these economic pillars. Have they helped this country to realize its economic dream? Because we've done so much reforms on electoral systems, on election and everything, but the problem that we continue, that is continue to ail this country is economic problem. Kenya has not been delivered economically. And that is the biggest, even that is why even the youth were on the streets, because of unemployment. That's economic problem. Yeah, people are not able to be useful to be useful to themselves. They're not able to be economically empowered because there are no jobs out there. The environment to do business is toxic. Yeah, because of the system that is managing that environment. Yeah, let me ask you, can you pinpoint any benefit that the Kenyans achieved under the Big Four agenda when Uhuru Kenyatta was the president? Yeah, because this pillar is just it's like we are going round and round. William Ruto came up with better to replace the Big Four agenda. What benefits has Kenyans realized under better? Yeah. And the Vision 2030 that Kibaki initiated and handed over to Uhuru when he was going home, how far How far have we moved as a country in realizing the Big Four agenda? No, not the Big Four, the Vision 2030, because we are only 5 years away from Vision 2030. Yeah, what have we achieved as a country? Because if you look at the economy and the kind of suffering as a result of economic hardships, you can see the indicators that in terms of economy, because Big Four agenda was to lift Kenyan economy to be a middle income economy at the level of South Africa. Yeah. So my question is, as a country, we are so much obsessed and focused so much on electoral reform because we believe that elections are being stolen each and every election. We believe that for you to be the president, you must be supported by the US and the UK. You must be controlling, I don't know, the system and I don't know what. But we are not focusing on economic liberation. Because politically we've done so much and we invest in our election to an extent that our election is the most expensive in the world because of that trust deficit and believing that someone must steal votes for them to be declared the winner. We even come up with very good laws to manage our election. But when it comes to economy, what are we doing to ensure that we realize economic dream? So the system that I'm talking about is that those systems that are intertwined to ensure that Kenya continues to languish in this kind of economic mess, that whatever economic policies that a regime comes up with, Kenyans are not able to feel the effects. Yeah, they're not able to see the results. They're not able to be liberated economically. Look at Beta. How many people have benefited from Hustler Fund and they have been empowered to an extent that now they're financially stable. Yeah? Now look at economic empowerment. What is that? It shows you that the problem is much bigger than individual. Even the president who is going to come after Ruto is going to come with another economic program with an expectation that is going to help the people. But let me assure you, if we do not dismantle that system that ensures that Kenya that perpetuates this kind of economic mess in this country, we will continue blaming individual for years and replacing them as soon as they get into office, because the system is much bigger than an individual. And the wise man once said that don't blame the king, blame the system, because the system has a way of even controlling those who sit at the decision-making level. So it's upon the people to have a discussion. It's upon the people to have a dialogue. It's upon the people to come up with ways to ensure that this system that has held us captive for over 60 years is dismantled so that Kenya can realize its economic liberation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Joseph. I want us to change gear a little bit and look at what is happening, especially in the country, and with what Kenyans are going through, especially when you talk of now the ODM, especially because is what we're discussing, them coming in to resuscitate or to stabilize the government. And in the process of stabilizing the government, if you look at the World Bank report, it says that actually the number of people that have been employed, especially in the government, from the time the June 25th protest took place to now has really gone up, and if you look again, Sha, today, you're told that you can have like 1 year, you can pay 1 year. And if you look at 1 year, somebody who is paying less. The other time, my mom, because mom went to register, that my mom was told to pay like something like 1,500. And remember, this is a woman who, let's say, she's not working. If you take 1,500 times 12, that is 1,500 times 12. That is almost, heading to around 13 to around 14,000. That is in a month. And remember these people. And you find that we are having these coalitions and all this to stabilize the country or to do that. Where are we missing the point? Are we so much where is the disconnect, especially with all leaders? And we just want to because it's something that affects our the country, because we're talking about the entire leadership. It's not even the administration that is in place. This one include oppositions. Where are we missing the point? What is our priority, actually? That could be the best question to ask.
At the moment, thank you for the question. At the moment, we don't have priority. We have thrown all away the priorities that we are supposed to be having, and which is the common wananchi. And we have the priorities now have become about power sharing, which it's a shame in a country which is far from going to elections. People are discussing about power sharing, and in that wrong run, when they start discussing about these things, the people who are suffering are the common wananchi, because the service delivery is also affected. Today, I think you have seen that nurses have not been recruited. Almost 300 nurses who are in internship, they are still suffering. But the president has a chance to talk about how he's going to broaden up his government, but he cannot even think about how he's going to be able to absorb these nurses, and how he's going to enable the healthcare system, and how he's going to enable the education system, because I think everything is under ruins now. Everything that he has touched has become a nightmare. You can just take you can just go to every ministry and check every ministry one by one, and you see that where they touched, it's a must. There have been problems. Like if you go to the water ministry, you have the whole CS coming saying that the boreholes that we were being told, there is nothing such as that. There is no boreholes that have been built. When you go to the lands ministry, you find so many chaos. People lands are even getting lost and being stolen. Today I've just seen a story about some people who are crying about their land. I don't remember that name of that area. It has started with a K something. I don't. When I get the name, I'll tell you.
Okay, share with us.
Yeah, I'll share with you. They are crying. Their properties have gone. They have been stolen. Their lands. We have a mess up in the lands registry and everything. When we come to education, the education funding model has been messed up with. We were hoping that when a government like this will come, it will make education free. Now we are even hearing that it is not going even to be more. It is going now to, we are going to start going to our pockets to fund an education. But you have money to give for CDF and give bursaries to children. What is that? Why do you give bursaries and you can put this money for the education sector? When you go to the security sector, I'm telling you, each and every sector that has been touched has a problem. Go to the security sector, you find there is problems and big problems. The security sector has so many issues. You find they want to deal with Kenyans, but they cannot be able to deal with banditry, which is happening in the areas like Kipi and Baringo. It is a problem. When you go to the health sector, which is the backbone, the health sector and the educational sector, which are the backbones of the country, they have been messed up with. He found a very good model that was working for Kenyans called Linda Mama. He removed it. You know why I talk about Linda Mama? Okay. My wife got a child through this Linda Mama. I did not pay a dime before God. I can swear to you. I did not pay even one cent or 1 shilling for her to deliver. So you came, you found a very good system, and you wanted to remove the system. So I don't understand. What is it in him that says that we can remove all this system and bring other system, or we can change? I don't know if it is you want them to be renamed after you, or you want them to be like you. It is you who brought them. There are systems that have been there in place that have not been touched. I heard him talking about agriculture. What has agriculture been done? There's nothing they have done about agriculture. They always take us for a drive and bring us another place there called Galana Kularwe, which is always, we are told that they are still doing, I don't know, they are trying to farm maize and water. But we are still importing. We are even importing eggs, for crying out sake. We are importing eggs. We are importing onions. So when I come here and say that we are not doing anything as a country, we are failed, and the government has lost its priorities, they have lost it. You hear somebody come tell you that we have given you hustler fund. You come and give me 500, Bob. Then you tell me I should start a business. Are you even serious with what you're saying? That I should come and start a business with 500, and you expect that I will flourish the business that you've given me? You come and tell the youth who have strength in the country that I want you to go abroad to work, and I don't want to look for you or to create opportunities for you in Kenya, but I want you to go outside. You wonder even what does a full president think about at night when he's, sometimes ukilala kwa kitanda, you think about your things and your future and everything. I don't know what he thinks about when he's sleeping. We have a very bloated government. We have, I don't know, 22 experts. We have 22 cabinet secretaries. We have principal secretaries. Why do we have to have all this? Why do we have to have a government that always thinks about building churches in state houses and renovation of, I don't know, state houses and state lodges? Why do we need all that? Why do we need all that? And this guy, let me tell you, the Kenya to deal with Kenya is not very hard. It's not a very hard issue. You need to look at the sectors that are ailing the Kenyan common mwananchi, and you focus on them. Don't give us, even I say, usikuje kupatizo wa barabara unasema na nini. Just come and deal with the health sector, education sector, and deal with food sector, agriculture, and deal with the economy. Only those 4 things. Then after you are done with that, now we can deal with other things about development. You want to build for us a stadium, well and good, but the people are still crying. We don't have food, we don't have water, and you still want them to be happy that you build a stadium like Liri. So the priorities in this government, they are not in place. That's why you see people talk anyhow the way they want to find them talking.
But if you look at the priority before you leave, I just also want to comment. You look at the priority that the government has set in place, and also compare it to the priority that maybe the oppositions or those who attend to, those who say that, okay, your government, your priority are not priority that we have, and these are the priority that we have. Do you see that we are having a clean bill on the other side of the coin, whereby I say that, okay, this is what they're giving us, something they're offering that is better than what we have, or even
brother, unfortunately, we are in a quagmire because also the side we have, so many of them also have been in these governments, and so many of them they have messed up. So it is that question you always ask yourself. Do you stay with the devil himself, or do you stay with the angels? That is the question with the demons. That is a question you ask yourself, because we are caught in a catch-22 situation. You don't know whether even now you cannot know who is telling you the truth or who is telling you lies, because this guy has brought so many lies to us. There is no trust there anymore. There is no trust between the politicians and the citizens. We don't have trust because you don't know if somebody can come and tell you tutakuja turudishe payslip and what have you, and then the next thing you are hearing, he has even added more things. So I don't know, but living with the government that we have at hand, it's better we look at a lesser evil, because even if you say there is nobody clean, what hakuna mtu clean, bwana Benson. Hata hiyo maraga mnasema there is nobody who is clean. Somebody when he enters there, I don't know what happens to their brains. There's like they lose focus. Me, the only hope I can bank for is the generation that is coming, the Gen Z, when they'll be able to have the power within themselves. That is the only thing I can bet on. But these other people who have been there, I cannot bet on anybody.
Okay. Okay. Asante sana Joseph, najua bado huko bado ndakuwa ndakuuliza swali. Wacha niende kwa ndugu yangu Miguda. Miguda, umekaa sana kwa sababu ulikuwa unakuja na unaanguka. Na pia naona hapa jambo ambalo imetoka kwa ODM CEO Ogwen. Defend SG Sifuna, dismisses report of plot to remove him. So that is another inside story that we have. Miguda, you know, you've been here and you've even go to those maandamano, and you've been talking as the Gen Z. And if you look at the country, especially where we are, and the leadership, and the leadership, I mean, not only the current administration, but the leadership everywhere, the opposition, everybody in the leadership and the judiciary, the parliament, you know. Do you have some hope that at some point we will see the light at the end of the tunnel, the direction that we are headed in the right direction? That hope, nothing that hope.
Okay. There is always hope, and there is always light at the end of the tunnel. So the question is, how do we get at the end of the tunnel? Because I can tell you that, of course, we are disappointed as a state. When we discuss about the issue of legislatures, have really disappointed us in terms of representation, legislation, and oversight. They have terribly failed, and also the executive have terribly failed, because in that the executive, I believe right now, it is Ruto who is running the show. Those CS are just flower girls. So that is something should not happen. But you understand that even some roles were taken back to parliament, like budget making process. So I think the executive and the legislature has failed the country, the entire country, not those who are saying one term. Everybody has been failure, even the Spurs calling Kumi Bila break. But I have a hope with the judiciary, because certain cases have gone to judiciary and I've seen them being outruled. There are unnecessary cases, like the issue of charging people with terrorist issues. Like there are so many things. People have been even bailed. People have been acquitted. Like you saw that Gen Z who pleaded guilty. When he pleaded guilty, and I like that magistrate actually acquitted that Gen Z, because he pleaded guilty that during mandamanos he banned the tires on the road. So when he pleaded guilty, then he was asked, "Are you sure of what you're saying?" Then after he pleaded guilty, he was acquitted. But the people who denied the charges actually, I think they were given around 1,000. Each and everyone was supposed to pay 1,500 bob. So I believe right now judiciary there is a hope, because sometimes if you go to the judiciary usually tend to look at your rights and your freedoms, that they should not be interfered with. So even though the legislature and the executive has failed the state, but there is a hope. That's why I still believe that our initial program or our initial point was to overhaul the whole system. That is why when people were on this demonstration, when we were being interviewed on the street, we were saying, okay, we are not interested who become the president. That's why we projected the issue of leaderless, that we want to get overhaul of the entire system. How do we get the overhaul of the entire system? That was the solution of this country. But now many people hijacked the movement, many people infiltrated, and now they want to retain the status quo. But from the look of things, I can just tell you that let me rely on my first submission, because I said there's someone somewhere thinks that he's cunning. That is Ruto. He thinks that he's the smartest person ever lived in the earth. Now he can con people, he can trick people, he can take people through circles. That's why the Raila is taking him also through circles. That niko ndani siko ndani. He also must be taken through circles, because he cannot be the person with the monopoly of taking people through circles. So I like the way we are dealing with him. so that, you know, we have agreed that if the priority is sending Ruto home, therefore, even if ODM bolt from government prior to the election date, let everybody unite and endorse that person who will be popular at that time. This issue of now, if some people left government, some people are also going behind the back door to assist people to get second term. So if that will be the case, then it's like we are not making any progress. But I believe that once people have decided, me, I believe in the power of the people, because me, I believe that the people's power is more stronger than the people in power. And I actually believe in democracy, and I believe that the people must rule and people should rule, not individual. It's a people-centered agenda. Therefore, I believe that given time and good strategy and opportunity, actually there is going to be a transformation in this country.
Thank you so much. And Joseph, I want to give you and it's more of politics, especially when I refer to what Edwin Sifuna say, that if he doesn't care what Rigathi becomes the president, but what he knows is sure of that provided that he's taking William Ruto votes from Central Kenya, because we believe, and from the numerical, that is the junk of vote that gave him the presidency. But on a political analysis, just somebody who wants to give his view, when the saga of Rigathi Gachagua happened and the president maybe decided to invite Raila in, where do you think that president can look for replacement, especially to replace the votes of Mount Kenya, if to say? Because from the look of things, that vote is kind of like gone. He cannot get the 100% that he got. And ODM coming in, or Raila was coming up with his fan base. When you look at the fan base of Raila Odinga, you look at, you map it in the country. Where do you think can replace that numerical factor in the mountain?
Yeah, I think that's why you see he's running away to ODM, and his skin stuck with Raila. That's why you hear when he has like they are so much granted and waga anaita Raila anamwambia wakuja watembee pamoja. I think he knows. Maybe he's thinking that the vote that Raila had in 2022 is still constant. You know, maybe Ruto may be thinking that, and he's thinking that he's going to take advantage of that. Nonetheless, forgetting that also in the dynamics of 2022, Raila pia zimemonyoka. There are some people who also are not supporting the so-called broad-based. So maybe he's trying those tactics of getting the Raila Odinga block, which has been voting for him. But for this one, I think also something. I think Ruto, the game plan he had is not working, brother. He had a game plan ya kuleta ukabila ndio watu waanze kupiga kura na ukabila, lakini he never expected for this Gen Z. Unajua Gen Z walianza kuingia kinomanoma hivi, and you cannot know their stance until now. They still confuse me. Leave alone Ruto, they still confuse me. So you cannot know what they are going to do. Even the person they are going to support also is a quagmire. Nobody knows. So inasumbuaga Ruto. That is the thing that inasumbuaga Ruto sana kwa akili, I think.
Okay.
That one disturbs him very much.
Now, talking about the president, even if you listen to the president, especially when he's having his forums, president is talking from a point of like is doing transformative agenda, is transforming from his own look, and he feels that the people are not seeing what he's doing, and he's talking about he was somebody somebody like a messiah who came to bring Kenya to the desired destiny, and even like today, if you listen to how he was talking, and the figures that he is giving out, does it mean that the people are not seeing these figures that president is saying, or these figures, where are they kept? Because people not seem not to, there are few people who believes on what president is saying. Few people, and the majority of people would ask this question: where is the disconnect? That is where I usually ask.
Yeah, he was a Messiah who did not come with a punda. The real Messiah tunamjua aliingia Jerusalem na punda. And when he came, he did the right things. He did not come to lie to us telling us so many sort of the crap that this guy is saying. So I think the problem is he has lost touch with the ground. But I think Ruto is also a stubborn person. I think he's a person who does not like to listen to people. I think even the people who are there around him, the so-called advisors, they really get a very hard time. It's so they are advising him, because I even doubt if they advise him. I think they are there for the money. But if he's advised, people have tried to advise him. Nevertheless, the church has tried to advise him. People have tried, experts have tried. They have come to the news. I don't expect that Ruto does not watch news. He always watches the news, and he has seen experts coming. They are trying to tell him the route we are going is a bad trajectory. He has been told by so many people, but I think the agenda that he always drives is the agenda of this white man. Unajua hawa watu IMF walikuja wakwambie wewe sikuje usiku, ekonomi yenu iko sawa, tunaweza wakopea pesa as long as mtaweza kuzirudisha. They always come with these so-called goody goodies, but they tell you to high tax the mwananchi. So the figures are not coming from him. Lazima alete hizo figures, because those figures don't come directly from him. They come from a source, and this source is trying to show him, jaribu kusema ati economy iko sawa, na tunaweza endelea and the numbers are okay. But coming to the ground, those things are not a reality. That's why you see people are angry about him all the time, and they're asking so many questions. What numbers? Where are the numbers? These numbers, where do you remove them?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm seeing Nyakairu is here with us. How are you doing?
I'm good, Benson. How are you?
We are good. We are having a conversation here, and we are just giving our views on what is happening in the country. And we started with discussing about the interview that we had with Edwin Sifuna, that Edwin Sifuna had, not we, Edwin Sifuna had in another TV station. And some of the things that he spoke about, basically, he spoke about the relationship of the ODM and the UDA. On your own perspective, when you listen to that interview, what came to your mind?
Thank you, and I say hi to everybody listening, the comment section na Wakenya wetu pahali popote wako. To start with, Sifuna seemed to be understanding what is going on, and he seemed to take the country so seriously, and he wanted the right thing to be done. That is my take. That is how I understood him. But he is kind of like being pulled. His legs are being pulled. And it's like he is talking for those who are in ODM generally to understand things are not the way they are trying to portray to people. People are seeing everything that is going on in their country, and they are shouting. But I don't understand these experts who went there to help this regime. What don't they see? They see everything, and they hear everything. But why they are stuck there, I don't understand. These are Kenyans who really see other Kenyans perish. Kenyans are crying because of the problems that has really hit the country. But it seems like they are just seated there, waiting for the last lap, and then they get out. Why do you have to wait until the government goes down while you are watching? So Sifuna, in fact, with his wisdom, I really understand him. And if he really means it, Sifuna can be a very good president. That is my choice. That is my take. The way he talk, the way he represents problems, the way he challenges these people, Sifuna can do a very good job. However, the way Kenyans may take it differently, but at this juncture, if you put everything away, this guy is talking sense and he's not looking back. Ni mtu ambaye anaonekana akiachiliwa anaweza enda mbali sana. That is my take. I am not proposing him to be a president, but I'm putting those the narration, the way he put his sentences, the way he put the country on his face. He holds the country in his hand. Na anasikia uchungu ule unaendelea kwa nchi yetu. So for Sifuna, mimi namwekea tick. Ati ni mtu ambaye anafikiria habari ya nchi. Yes.
Asante sana. Unajua na venye umesema kwamba ni mtu ambaye ameweka sana maono yake na anaweka ile, anavaa ile husika ya yale ambayo tuseme kwamba wananchi wanapitia. Na wananchi hao wenyewe, unadhani kwamba wako na maono kama ya Sifuna? Kwa sababu unapata maneno kama haya labda akisema, utapata kuna wale ambao watasema labda kwa sababu uko na maono tofauti na sisi, labda wewe unatumika na mwanasiasa mwingine, ama wewe labda utakuwa unataka kuenda katika upinzani. Unadhani Wakenya wako na maono kama hayo na wanaikubali?
And that is why I'm saying, I hope this is a truthful thing coming out of Sifuna. That is the only thing we can stand on, because we have been lied for these 3 years. Watu wameoga na huo uongo, kuoga kwa mwili imejaa. And so when they hear anybody talking, they think twice. They don't want to push or get into it and decide. But what I'm trying to say as a person, as a Kenyan, Sifuna, the way he is talking, if it is truthful, if it is coming from his heart, because many times these people are just talking to us, ndio asikike anaongea mambo yani mambo ambayo iko na faida kwa wananchi, ndio wananchi wamsikize. Hatutaki hivyo. Na hiyo ndio imefika kiwango. So Kenyans will take some time to get into that, to blend in it. Lakini watachunguza na mwenendo wa mtu na maongeo hiyo anaongea, baadaye anakuwa anafanya nini. Because you know, somebody can stand in front of you, give a very good speech. And after giving a very good speech, ajue, everybody has applauded me. Wamenipigia makofi, umefurahi. Alafu ukipiga tu kona hivi unasema, nini? Nimefaulu, nimewadanganya na hii mambo imeingia kwao. You see, those are the jokes that we don't want in our country right now. People are serious, people are very angry, and so we don't want any joke. Kwa hivyo Sifuna, unaongea vile unaongea, I'm telling you, iwe ndani yako na inatoka kwako, kwa hiari yako, kwa upendo wako, si mtu ambaye unaongea kwa niaba yake. Kwa sababu inaweza kuwa kuna kujifichia wananchi wa Kenya. Ndio sasa huyu afikishe message ambapo mtu mwingine atapenya, kama vile tumeshaona. Mtu anaongoja wakati unafika, alafu anaruka watu anaenda the other side. So we don't want that. We want somebody who stand on the ground and says something that he will stand with it until mwisho wake, mpaka siku ile atakufa. Because the truth never die.
Okay.
When people lie,
wacha tena nikuulize swali lingine, kwa sababu unajua jambo tata hapa ni kwamba jambo tata hapa, Miguda ukirudi kuuliza swali, jambo tata hapa ni kwamba chama cha ODM kuna watu ambao wamepatiwa nyadhifa, na pia nyadhifa ambao wamepatiwa ni zile za muhimu katika chama hicho. Ya kwanza nikianza, Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga ni mwanzilishi na tena ni mwenye chama. Unapata kwamba maneno ambayo anazungumza ni tofauti na yale maneno ambayo mwenyekiti wa chama anazungumza, na pia ni tofauti na yale tuseme kwamba Secretary General wa chama anazungumza. Na haya maneno yote wanasema katika umma, yani ni ile kila mtu wanapata kusikia. Sasa unajua shida inakuwa ni tutaamini nani? Ama ni ile kwa sababu wanataka kuna wafuasi wao wengine ambao hawapendi hii serikali ya salamu za heri, waseme kwamba kuna watu kama Edwin Sifuna hawapendi, sisi tutakaa nao, na pia kuna wale ambao wanapenda, sisi tutakuwa nao. So unapata kwamba wafuasi wao bado wako tu katika ODM, lakini wanafuata watu ambao wako na maono tofauti. Unaona, na hiyo inaweza kuwa kwa sababu siasa, kila kitu chochote kinawezekana.
Ni kweli Benson, hiyo mambo iko na tukiangalia sana utaona Sifuna maongeo yake kutoka, in fact for a while he has been talking against what is going on in ODM. Na kwanza sana kusema ni kama kuonyeshana mimi kikiinama ama kukimwagika mimi sitamwagika, mimi siko hapo. It's like he is siding himself out of that coalition hiyo ya ODM, lakini hajajiuzulu. It's like mkia uko kwa ODM lakini mwili wake wote uko nje. Sasa lakini anafikiria labda hii mkia yangu ikifurutwa sana kwa sababu yale mambo yanaweza fanyika kwa ODM, labda inaweza mrudisha huko kwa sababu utamu umeingia. That is, we don't want that. We want hiyo mkia akate kabisa, either awache huko ama aende nayo, lakini aondoke, aongee akiwa mzima. Because you see, like the other day I heard that Ruto has never resigned from ODM. You see? And he was the manager of UDA. So huyu ni mtu ambaye anakaa mguu moja pandi na mguu mwingine pandi. Why is it allowed in the country, a democratic country? Why is it allowed that somebody can have two parties? Na ndiye anakuwa ati yeye ndio kiongozi wa nchi. That is, mimi hiyo ilinishtua sana, na nikasema why is the registrar allowing this? Kwa sababu wao ndio wanajua huyu ako mlengo huu, huyu ako mlengo huu. Kwa nini wanakubalia mambo kama hiyo? That is my problem. Kwa sababu kama sasa huyu Sifuna aongee ile maongeo anaongea, one day amka useme I'm done. Kwani unakula kwa nani? Ukuli kwa ODM, unakula kwako. Yes. So why are you fearing to say enough is enough? At this very time the country is burning na kila mtu ako angry. It is time for everybody to choose their way. Either you stay ODM na uendelee kuagiza mambo ya ODM, lakini usije nje kutueleza vile tunataka kusikia alafu hauko na sisi. It is very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Okay, asante sana. Bado nataka tukue na mazungumzo. Najua Marco Bura anakuja. Nataka kujua maoni yako, kwa sababu unajua hapa unapata kwamba wale wako katika upinzani, jambo lao la kwanza ni kwamba tuhakikishe kwamba ikiwa tutakuwa tunapiga kura tutaleta serikali mpya. Na kuna baadhi ya maneno ambao wametumia, one term, Ruto must go, hayo yote kwa sababu hayo ni mambo ya siasa, imekubalika. Lakini wewe kwa mtazamo wako, ukiona watu ambao wako katika upinzani ni wengi, sana sasa nataongea katika wale maviongozi wa siasa. Kuna watu kama Maraga, kuna Matiang'i, kuna Rigathi Gachagua, kuna Eugene Wamalwa, na hao wote wako katika hiyo mrengo. Hao ni wapinzani ambao wanapinga serikali ya President William Ruto. Alafu pia kuna wale kizazi kipya pia, wengi wao pia wanasema kwamba hii serikali sisi hatuoni kama hatuipendi, tunataka kubadilisha serikali. Na pia kuna wale ambao pia wamenyamaza tu lakini hawaongei. We unadhani ni jambo gani labda ambao wananchi wanaweza fanya ili wapate njia mwafaka, ili wakuwe na msimamo mmoja, ili waone kwamba yale matarajio na maono ambao wako nayo kuleta serikali mpya itakuwa imeitimika ama wameitimia?
First of all, hawa watu wote umetaja, in fact nilisikia wakiongelewa habari yao. Hakuna mtu hana kwaruso la jambo alifanya. Na hiyo mambo ni mambo mazito sana kwa wananchi, kwa sababu this time round imefundisha wananchi we have to deal with these people liwe liwalo, tuwajue ni warangi gani. Sasa mimi kwa upande wangu ningeuliza, Kwa nini hawa watu wasije honest speaking, yaani wawe watu wamejitoa nguo, waseme listen my people, I did this, and I know it is hard for them to say anything like that.
Yeah.
I did this and I did this, na kweli mnajua, because we know what they have done. I was on one forum that people were talking about each and everyone alikuwa anawekwa mezani, wana digest, dissect tabia zake na mambo ile amefanya. Hakuna mtu hana. So wakajaribu hata huyo Maraga, watu huwa wanasema ati hana nini, hana kitu amefanya. Maraga is another one. Kuna jambo alifanya. So na tena hata Maraga watu wakimpima sana wanaona is a project ya Ruto wa kuharibu kura ama kuharibu uchaguzi. So we don't want to have a single doubt on these people. Let them come out, let them say, I did this. In fact, this is the time for them to come open. Mimi nilifanya hivi na ninaomba msamaha. There are people who we can see that really they mean business. They really mean something to wananchi. But to come and start campaigning, hata hiyo one term itafika pahali, itakuja kuisha. One term, mwizi. Itakuja kuisha sasa watu waje na serious note, serious issues that they want to present to wananchi, ambapo wataongea sasa mambo ambayo inazidia wananchi na wanataka kufanyia wananchi. Kila kitu kinakuaga, kinachosha. As time goes, kinachosha. So maybe one time itakuwa inasemwa just in the beginning of that rally, but the rest will be how to tackle these problems of our country, which has been really, really destroyed by this regime. Mimi kwa upande wangu ningesema hawa watu, if you know, badala ya watu wawe wana discuss huko, huyu alifanya hivi, huyu alifanya hivi, it kills a lot of morale for some people. Alafu wanasikia sisi hatutaki kufanya kitu kingine kibaya kama hicho, tuendelee kuumia. What are we going to do? Let them come out so that we can assess them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for your contribution, and I also just stay for a while. Let me engage Makobura because it just come. Makobura, we've been having discussion. You've dropped, so you were not there when we were having discussion, and we pointed out few things here. Then I want to know, even on your side, especially when you look at the leadership of opposition and the leadership that we have, and you look at how prepared are we in this everything that the country is going through, bearing in mind the transaction politics that is taking place, bearing in mind the regionalism kind of politics that is taking place. How are we prepared as voters ourselves? Because at the end of the day, the leaders that are being elected, these people, they do not just get those positions. These positions are given the mandate by the people. How are we prepared in a way that we can put in leadership that understands us, the leadership that knows what we are going through, and the leadership knows what should we do in a point of need?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did I lose you?
I have a problem with my machine, so I don't know whether you can hear me here.
I can hear you. Just go ahead.
Okay. So on the matter that you've asked, I didn't clearly get the final comment that you said. What did you say? What was the last question?
The last question that I'm asking you, in all this that we are going through and all that is happening in the country, I'm asking the level of our preparedness and especially on the voter side. How prepared are we as voters that we make sure that the decisions that we are going to make come 2027 are decisions that are issue-based oriented, you know?
Okay. Yeah, so as much as we have problem with the political class, I think as a people we also have to accept one thing, that we have a problem with as a people, as a citizen, we also have a problem because we have a responsibility of electing the right people, and it is good that we've always had the opportunity to analyze, even to an extent of getting to know the personality of every individual.
Yeah.
But most of the times we've not really made the right decisions. We've not really selected or elected people who are worthy. So we need to relook into that as a people, as a citizen. We have to understand that whatever person that we give a chance to lead, that person will have the power and the authority to do so many things on our behalf. So that has to get into our mind before we get to the point of doing the election, because if we elect a devil, we are going to survive that devil for the whole 5 years. When we elect an angel, we are going to survive with that angel for our whole 5 years. So
Yeah.
it is upon the people to make the right decision. With we are at a point where, for example, we are going for 2027 general election. We have the president who is defending his seat, and we know the people around him. At the same time, we have to accept one thing: there are opposition, and there are so many people in the opposition. What we need to do, if the people of Kenya feels that the president has not done well, then it is their constitutional right. There is a good number of people who have come out to say that they are willing to take over from him. What we need to do as a people is to do a verification of the individuals and to see among the people who have presented themselves who can take it, who can perform, who can do away with corruption, who can ensure that the right, as per what the constitution talks about, is guaranteed. Who will ensure that looting and corruptions are dealt with? Who is going to ensure that we have a government, a functional government that respects the will of the people? I think we need to look into such things before we do, or before we get into election. We need to get out of this mentality of electing people out of emotions. We need to get out of this mentality of electing people because we have the numbers. We need to get out of this mentality that we are electing this person, even if the person cannot even work. We are electing him or her because he's coming from my tribe, because he's coming from my region. We need to get out of that mentality because that is the bondage, that is the problem that has been, affecting the people of Kenya. So we need to do much, and a lot of sensitization, a lot of education needs to be done. And again, something else that we also have to acknowledge is that election, you have to participate in election. If you need change, you have to participate. There's no need of people, watu wanaongea huku nje, lakini kikuja siku ya kufanya election watu hawatoki. And that is what I've been accused. I mean, the youth have been accused of that. Wanapika mdomo, and then at the last time they fail to get out or to wake up. Wengine wameshindwa hata kwenda kusimama kwa line, wanasema it's a waste of time.
A waste of time.
If you do that, it is your life. For a period of 5 years, we are going to suffer if you fail to wake up. It is just a one-day thing. What is wrong with that? I think it's something manageable. It's something that you can do. So it's my humble request to the youth as well. You waking up, going to stand on that line for a day would change your life, would change the life of other people. That vote, that one vote, it has a lot. It means a lot. It can save millions of people. So we have to acknowledge that fact that the vote, whichever one or how many, one vote really has, means a lot. And we have to know that. This mentality of hata nisipovote, si watu wengine watavote.
Watapiga kura.
The problem we've had, we have quite a number of people in the Republic of Kenya who are eligible to vote. For example, last year, almost more than 20 million were supposed to be voting. What did we see? Around 13 or 12, around 13 million are the only people who turned out to vote.
Yeah.
The question we're asking, what about the remaining? Almost half of the people did not turn out. And today people are on the street, people are complaining.
Among the people who are complaining louder, the people who failed to wake up to go and, to go and vote. So we need to also speak about such.
Okay, and Nataka, I know is something that is also very, very important, and we have to look at it, and it's something that is happening within the East Africa. And my mother, you will help me understand and ask ourselves, where are we going? Because, like, if you look at the history of East Africa or the history of Africa, Tanzania was a good heavenly safe, I would call it so, for the countries that were fighting for their liberation. And if you look at Tanzania, you find that even Mandela was in Tanzania when he was fighting for liberation of South Africa. You look at the late Mugabe, all of them were there. But now you find that there's something that is happening in Tanzania, and the same as in Kenya, and the issue of abduction, it is happening in Tanzania as in Kenya, because, like, when you look at Tanzania, there are also people who are just went missing. And also something that we've seen. Well, now you look at East Africa, and the East Africa now tend to have something in common. How does that one put us, especially in the world map, when we look at East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda? My mom? Is she there? Oh, she left the studio. What's happening?
No, I'm here.
Yes, so maybe your thought, because, like, there's this similarity in East Africa that we are seeing, especially the issue of abduction,
Benson.
Yeah.
When you look at these people, I think they do communicate. These presidents, I won't lie to that.
Yeah.
That is my belief. They do communicate, and they do help each other, and they do tell each other, what can I do if this happens? Of course they do. And I can't believe that you can ask another president how you can deal with your people so that they can listen to you.
Yeah.
Instead of advising each other that when even the other presidents in those other countries, they can see thoroughly that there is something wrong going on in Kenya. And instead of being honest and telling the person the right thing to do, they become like they are inciting. I would say that inciting or adding the bad thought of the other president more in more serious things that he can do to the inhabitants. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, let's say, for example, in the first instance, the president could be harsh, but he is wondering what can I do so that these people can keep quiet? Then he goes to seek advice from those others. But instead of them giving him a good insight, they decide that they put more fire. Maybe anamwambia, unajalishwa na nini? Piga risasi. Because that is how this ama yeye anasema ama niwashtue niwapige risasi. Yeah, you can do that. Because why should it be that these things are happening in those three countries? Why is it uniformly they are doing things the same way? Abduction is going on in Tanzania. That one we understand. The same as even some people were killed. They vanished in Tanzania. In Uganda, you see people cannot uprise because this guy is really adamant that you cannot do that to me. And remember, in Uganda is one party. Ruto is his intention right now, or his mind. He thought he will drive people to that panic. And then he start capturing each and every party, then make the country one party. That is my take. That is my thinking. That is my opinion.
Okay.
So They
Okay,
are
go ahead.
not advising each other to the right direction. They are just becoming hostile, all those people whom they are connecting with. That is my way of understanding.
Okay, let me bring you back home, and there's something that has been happening, which I don't know whether you've noticed, and this is happening with our courts, especially post protest, where those who those who are arrested by the police, and they go to the courts, and you find that the courts sometimes drop those charges, but when you're still within the court premises, immediately the courts leave with you. You are rearrested again, and then you're being charged with the treason, especially with terrorists. I mean, those are we've seen some of the young men who were arrested. Then they went to court. The courts say that, okay, the charges are dropped. Then you get rearrested again. And this is a pattern that is happening. So maybe on your own understanding, where can you where do you feel there's a lapses? Immediately you are being released, you're captured, you're taken to court, then you're taken to Kahawa in that court. Where is the lapses?
Benson, when you look at this guy, si mtu ako tayari kuwa criticized. And it is very bad when somebody is doing wrong na hataki kuwa criticized. Hataki kusikia mtu anaongea against what he is doing. And he knows he is doing wrong, because Ruto, for heaven's sake, he knows he is doing so many bad things in the country. And as from the word go, he knew that I was lying. Remember hata Gachagua alituambia ati vile walikuwa wanachukua helicopter, wanaenda, wana launch, matrakta inakuja hapo, wakiondoka matrakta inawafuata. So, na akasema, we usijali, unajua vile nitapanga hawa watu. So, Ruto has been pangering people in Kenya. So, what I'm trying to say is, these people are being arrested because there is something that is in between. These people, when they go free, we are not looking good. We have to insist that these people should be arrested and brought back to book. Lakini swali yangu moja ni hili. You are arresting somebody who has been released by the court. What is the work of the court?
To exonerate.
The court is either exonerate or jail them. But things have not been correctly done, because there is no evidence of somebody being arrested or of a certain, like a sonist, and then they come to find even that person was not in that ground. And then, do you jail everybody who come to court? No. You have to see the evidence. The government does not have evidence, because those are not the right people to be arrested. There are those people who did it, but they are not there. Now, when you ask a lapses where it is, it's about the government using force and don't want to see people go free because they look fake. They look bad. So the police, and furthermore, whoever are arresting these people, it's not, I don't think they are the, niliona kama kuna watu walishikwa na watu ambao si wa kikosi cha polisi, ni kikosi cha aina ingine. You know? So you see, it is like police are doing the right thing somehow, but there is other people who have been planted to deal with what has not been done the way the fake government wants. That is what I call fake.
Okay.
So tena ile kitu ninasikia shida sana ni hii terrorism in our country. Kwani tumelea watoto wetu wawe terrorists really in their own country? And these people have got no gun, they have no any weapon, there's nothing even to prove terrorism within those young men. Tena kitu ile iko, you are spoiling the name of the country from the world.
Thank you.
That Kenya is full of terrorists. So people will look at the country as a terrorist country. Na ndio alikuwa anasema hapo at a failed country. Of course you are making the country fail because of all those terminologies you are using and making people look terrorists everywhere they go or wherever they are. They look like terrorists.
Yeah. Thank you. Because like I just wanted to ask you about that because like when you look at the term, especially the term terrorist, actually it doesn't give a nation a good name. So like in terms, if somebody wants to come invest in the country, and such as the words, like if you look at the number of people that are being charged, or the young men that are going to the court and being charged because of that, what image does it create in the country, and the investors who wants to come, how safe are they with their investment in some way if you want to come and invest in this country? So in terms of international wise, because like everything that happens, especially in the country nowadays, we have social media, which is very viral and is a world on the palm of the hands. Anything that happened can be watched in other parts of the world. How does that one even give the picture of our country? I don't know whether they have always put that one in consideration and say that, okay, as a country, what image are we selling out there?
It is a very bad word that he used. It's a very bad one. You see, he says criminals, he called people goons, and then he has gone to say terrorists. So in Kenya, we have got three categories. We have got goons, we have got criminals, and we have got terrorists. So who will, in the right mind, coming from his peaceful country, coming into such kind of a country with all that categories? None. Na kitu ingine nataka kusema, Ruto, he is the most terrorist person. He is the terrorist. Because when you look at the, the explanation of who is a terrorist, in fact, it defeats Ruto completely. People who use violence.
The people who are advising, or the people that have been given the mandate to, might be the people doing it.
Doing what?
Like, let's say, like the police and those who are charging, the police who are charging this and that.
But you see, Benson, what I see is wrong, because me being the head of the house, if I start telling my children, when you see somebody passing around, take a stone and stone him or her.
Yeah.
I am the mastermind. I am the one making those children to do wrong. And in fact, when things become hot, they will point at me. And they will say, our mom told us when we see somebody passing, we throw stones. So, however, whether he's being wrongly advised, even him, but then he does not qualify to be a president, because he cannot come to his senses and think that is something wrong that he is being advised. Me, I'll never blame advisors. I'll blame the head of those advisors. Because you cannot sit down there and you know killing is a bad thing, and you go on killing because I was advised. No, that won't work.
Okay, thank you so much. And I just hold on. Let me engage Joseph. Thank you so much for coming back, and we are still having a conversation. Makobura, there's something that I wanted to ask you, especially, and this one refers to what Edwin Sifuna said, that there are things that are happening in Tanzania and Uganda. We are not exceptional. Do you agree with him on that?
I totally agree. Personally, I'm an artist. When I see a government killing its citizen, I feel so bad, because my belief, I'm a Christian, and the teachings of Christianity, and for that matter, Catholic. And Catholic teaches me there's something called the Catechism of the Catholic, that life is something sacred. something sacred is, it's a gift that is given by God, and a fellow human being do not have a right to take life of a fellow human being.
Yeah.
If we are seeing such kind of things in this government, then I want to tell you that it is a threat to whoever is in this country. If someone else, if a Kenyan can be killed for criticizing or for going for demonstration, then I
Yeah.
can tell you anybody can be killed. Your brother can be killed, your sister can be killed, your mother, your parent, it can fall to anybody within your family. So that is number one thing that we have to come out and categorically tell the president and whoever is running the government that they have to respect life. Government that do not respect life, personally, I'll never support. I'll never talk of anything positive about them. That is number one. Number two, we're in a democratic country. We're in a democratic world. It is unfair. It is so uncouth. It is so, I don't know. I am even looking words to explain. In this century, in these times, people are supposed to be, having the freedom to speak, the freedom to exercise their freedom of expression and movement and all those kind of things. If I wake up in the morning, if you come to me, brother, and you tell me that you want me to assist, to give you my vote, that you are going for presidency, or you are going for member of parliament or governor, and you tell me that once you get there, you are going to do one A, B, C, D, and then out of that, I give you my vote. You get into that position, then you fail to honor what you had promised. Which business, Brother Ben, do I have still talking to you nicely? Because I delegated we've delegated that power to you. You are supposed to exercise it wisely on behalf of the citizen. If you are not doing that, Brother Ben, I'm putting my take. I do not have any sympathy of, that we give time. There's nothing like giving time. This government giving the people of Kenya have to come out and fulfill everything that they did promise. If they are not going to do it, whether we are going to call heaven to come down, we shall call heaven to come down and assist us by all means to bring a government that is going to respect life, a government that is going to respect the children of God, a government that is going to know that we are all equal. Equal in the sense that if you, my brother or my sister, whether you're coming from Turkana, whether you're coming from Sugoi, whether you're coming from northeastern or south, you belong to this world, you belong to this nation, you need to be treated with what we call equity. You need to get what you need for your survival, because that is the responsibility of a government. We all pay tax, and that tax has to be used in a manner that reflects equity, in a manner that reflects leadership.
Okay.
If we are not going to see that, there is no any guarantee that we are going to sit and watch, see a government continue abducting people. If you wake up in the morning, you tell them that what abduction is wrong. You wake up in the morning, you tell them, tell the people in government to stop looting. The following day, they come to you, they come for you, and then they go kill you in a police station. No, we are waking up, and this time round, it is not going to be a business as usual. We are going to stand with the lives, with the rights, and with anything that we are able to stand with to ensure that the people of Kenya finds what is necessary. The people of Kenya appreciate the fact that God made them to be in this country. Let no one not come to us, coming in the name of God, telling us that they are going to build a house in State House, while people in other countries today, there are people who are going to sleep and they have nothing. There are people who cannot afford the 3 meal. It is a fact. People in Kenya, the level of poverty in Kenya is on rise. And it is rising because we have a government that do not really care. I think we need sometimes to be playing some clips. You know, I'm always here and I do follow everything which is happening in Kenya. Each and every day, we have a good number of some Kenyans who have been highlighting the plight and what is really happening on the ground. If you see the kind of things that people do post, a family, you know, children are looking for, you know, what we call education. They are unable to get it. Some of them are, you know, selling land to go to school. You finish the school, there's no job. You go back home, and then the people at home then ask you, "Muliuza shamba sasa saa hii, kuna nini? How are you even going to start?" You know, it becomes so stressing. It becomes so. We need to solve these things, and it is us. We need to wake up as a people and fight for our rights and for the future of our country and our children.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. Let me just engage Joseph, and I will engage our mom before we close down. And Joseph, this is what President said. It took a swipe at former Chief Justice Maraga, and I quote, "I listened to one gentleman who retired just the other day say that Kenya is a failed state, and I wonder how he wants to be a president of a failed state."
You want me to comment about that?
Yeah, that's what President said today.
Brother, we are dealing with a person who is mental, who is a psycho. I've just seen now he's saying that the opposition hawana points. This guy, I don't know. You know, there was a place I was saying, anytime you see a president who is agitated and wants to return everything that the people are saying, just know he's not the perfect leader. Because there is some things when you are a president or a leader in a country, you don't involve yourself in there. There is some things you only keep quiet. Sometimes even you need to keep quiet, and say just let them happen, and you pretend even you are not there. You know, the past presidents have shown us that you can keep quiet and you are not seen for some months. And even people now start missing you, they start asking where you are. But ukikaa kama unatupatia dose kila siku, dose ya wazimu, people tend to be enough with the rhetorics that you are bringing. That's why sometimes there's some things you don't, even in a man in your house, brother Benson, you know, there's some things you don't comment. Una vitu utasikia watoto wakiongea hapo, kila kitu utashinda uturudisha na kuambia watoto ati itafikiria and talking about even some things your wife tells you. You always sometimes sit back and just watch as they run. Lakini tuko na a person who has a problem. I think the problem with him, he has what do we call this sickness? Na hiyo ugonjwa ya hata si ugonjwa. I think he has low self esteem. And him returning to Maraga, telling him that you have been there for 40 years and you want to come and rule a failed state. He should also say who has failed the state, because he's saying you are going to come and serve a failed state. Who has failed it in the first place? He's the one. He's in power. Even if the other president failed the state. He is also among the people who have failed the state. So let him give us a break with all these rhetorics of. I heard even him saying that ni Mungu, labda ni Mungu alimweka hapo. He has a plan. And then these guys points he brings, even sometimes you feel like laughing. Unasikia tu kucheka. Nikiangalia vitu anasema, you see even this guy you see he's not serious with. But I think Ruto, one problem that he has. I think he did not think he was going to win 2022. I think he was not ready to be a president. He maybe was timing, but labda alikuwa anaona kama kitaenda haywire, so he was not thinking that he'll have that seat, because somebody who was prepared and ready, hiyo kiti angekuwa amekalia vizuri, but this guy he's just another case.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me take this opportunity to thank everyone who has been on the comment section. It's almost 2 hours and 19 minutes. And our good panelists, let me take also this opportunity to thank Joseph so much for you being one of our panelists, Marco Bura, and our mom too. So let me also say thank you to Annie, nimemwona pale kwa comment section, Gibson Corner, nimeona pia Father yuko pale. Laban alijaribu kuingia lakini akatoroka. Sijui nini ilikuwa imefanyika kwa sababu unajua yeye ni strong ODM member. We wanted to get his view. You know, he's one of the strongest ODM members that we have. Despite the wrangles in ODM, he will still stand with ODM, and aliitisha link dakika kidogo akaingia akapotea. So we are asking him tomorrow, if you find time, come. We still need to know more about the party, of what is happening, confusion and everything. Okay, let me also take this opportunity to thank Barak and Miguda, who were with us earlier, and they left, and even those viewers who were with us at our early conversation and left kwenda kufanya majukumu yao, tunawashukuru sana. Jambo la pili pia nasema kama wewe ni wa kwanza ama ndio siku ya kwanza ambapo unakuja kukutana na channel yetu hapa, unaweza kuwa una subscribe, alafu tukuwe na mazungumzo. Sana sana ni mazungumzo ya uongozi na yale ambao tunapitia katika nchi, vitu vingi tu, hata mambo ya burudani, mambo ya uchekeshaji, zote tuko hapa na tutakuwa tunazungumzia. Kwa ya hayo ya mwisho
I can say something light on a light note. Kuna soap opera brother Kevin anaangalia hapo na anafaa tuambie jina ni gani. I see he's so concentrated.
He's smiling.
He's a soap is watching and it seems quite interesting sana.
Okay, let you give, maybe let's our mom first of all give her closing remarks so that we can release Marco Bura to go and watch the soap opera. This is a soap opera guy.
Thank you, Benson. I want to add something on what Joseph said.
Yeah.
And I want to tell this fake president, because he's not my president, that don't be worried of leaving people with no plan with the government. Just go, let the people struggle to make ends meet, let people struggle to make the government while you watch. Akuwa worried. What is his worry? He has been there only 3 years. And now he's worried that the people who will be coming, they don't have plans. Go, leave the country, then you see it failing instead of being there, clinging and doing nothing. So you are wasting our time. You better leave so that people can take over. People who are ready to work. Saa hizi si wakati wa kujitangaza plan yetu ni hii. Labda ukitangaza hutaifanya. Yeye alitangaza hakufanya. So we are not going to reveal our plan. Go home, let the country control itself. And in fact, maybe even Kenyans can be very happy even without a leader. So don't be worried. Yeah, he shouldn't be worried of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And Joseph, what is your closing remarks?
Yeah, thank you, Brother Benson. I want to thank everybody who has been part of us, because we have been like a family here. We always come here and we always bring our points, whether we argue or whether we come together and listen to each other. It's a very good thing that we always, sometimes civic education is more important. That's why I always also appreciate the people on the comment section, because they're also part of what we are discussing here. And that's why sometimes we always highlight them and we always comment about them. For what our mama said, yeah, this guy is deluded. I told you he has inferiority complex syndrome. So we cannot cure inferiority complex syndrome. There is no medicine. Hatuna dawa ya kumpatia. So wacha tu akae tu hivyo na hiyo wazimu yake. Tutadili nayo tu polepole. I think there is nothing we have never heard from Ruto. Kutoka hapa nitawaletea gari haina engine, itakuwa ikienda. I remember the gari without engine.
Na chapati milioni moja.
So there's nothing we have not had with Ruto government. The things that we could have waited to hear, we have had it all. So for my closing remarks, let us be vigilant. Let us check I always say, don't just go with somebody. The candidates are there. You just look for yourself. For anything, even the MP, you are going to look for the people who are going to vote for the by-elections. Please let this be the first show that we want change.
Yeah.
In the by-election, let us show that we want change. If we show it in the by-elections, I think it will be even more. It will be even more of a wake-up call, and they will see that it is true Kenyan satire. So thank you for everybody who always join us, and I appreciate.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, and for always finding time to be on the show and we discuss. Marco Buda, do you have anything to say?
Brother Joseph is forgetting about gas. Gas tuliambiwa itakuwa 300. Leo hii nilienda kutafuta gas nikaambiwa gas bado ni 1300 hii ya 6 kg. Sasa mimi najiuliza kijamii, sisi natamani kukuwa na hiyo gas ya 300
Okay.
This is what you can say. Allow me to give my final remarks. I think we all have a responsibility to take care of this country. This is home. You know, they always say that whether you go west or whichever direction, home is always the home. Yeah. So whichever, you know, in whichever way that we can assist, I think we need to come together as a people and solve the problems which we are having. It is so unfair that we are living in a country where 10% of the population are extremely rich. But then the 90% of the population, people are suffering. People are going without food. That is what really pains me, that people are, you know, as much as we understand that we need education, if you see the kind of, you know, suffering that the people of Kenya are going through, if you see the kind of, you know, yesterday I was seeing, I was watching some clips, and I was surprised to see very young children. They are really seeking for education, which is a basic right. But even the uniforms that they were wearing, you find that a lady, she was a girl, she was a young girl. So this young girl, she's in, you know, she was putting on some clothes, and then out of just another skirt and another top, she's then putting, you know, there were quite around 3 or 4 children. And they were then asked, do you guys, huwa hata mnakula? Wanasema that wanakulanga, they only do have one meal. Hiyo ndio sana sana wako sure about, that is supper. So hizi za asubuhi, breakfast and lunch, not guaranteed. Then I asked myself, this is the same country where we have a president who wants to build a church at State House. Are we then being fair to our fellow Kenyans? And the amount of money that he want to use to build the church is 1.2 billion. And you're saying this is your personal money. Well, you're a businessman. We have foreign 1.2 billion that you want to use to build a church. Why can't you use this 1 billion to change the lives of the people? God listens. God listens. Even if we pray in the desert, he will still listen. What he looks at, what he really looks at is the heart, the person who prays. So it is upon the people in government, upon the leaders, that they look at what is more important. What is it that is a priority for the people of Kenya? If they look into that, I think they can change the life. They have the capacity. Kenyans are waking up very early. Kenyans work 24/7. They pay taxes. The taxes that they pay is enough to run this country. Let the people in government stop looting. Let them stop interfering with anything that is assisting fellow Kenyans. That is the only request that I have. Apart from that, I think I can only say that this is a process. The process is still on, and there are stages. When we get to the right stage, let us make the right decision. That is my take tonight.
Okay, asante sana kwa wote ambao wameshiriki na sisi na wale ambao pia walikuwa katika comment section. Ani, thank you, asante sana. Najua ndugu Njiru, kwa sababu yeye masaa yake inakuwa saa zingine ni masaa ya jioni, tutapatana huko sana sana, mimi nakuwa kwa comment section. Lakini mimi jambo ambalo labda naweza sema kwamba ni watu ndio wanaamua, na itabidi watu wachukue kura na wapige kura, kwa sababu mimi naamini kama hujapiga kura haustahili kuongea ama kutoa malalamishi yoyote, kwa sababu inamaanisha haujui umuhimu wa kura yako. Na pia lazima uamke asubuhi, kwa sababu saa zingine mimi huwa najiuliza swali kwamba hawa viongozi ni sisi ambao saa zingine inapata kwamba tumewapigia kura, na tukishawapigia kura tunawajua, tunawaelewa, tunawajua historia yao, lakini kwa sababu sisi wenyewe yale maamuzi ambayo sisi tunachukua inapata kama maamuzi ambayo hatuletii sisi faida yote, si maamuzi ya busara. So inapata kwamba sisi wenyewe ndio tunakuja tunaumia. Lakini mimi naamini 2027 is a perfect opportunity for every complaints that you have, for every good governance. If you want your education to work, that answer is on the ballot. If you want the medical and all that, anything that you feel is not right now, the answers will be on the ballot. So that also something that also we need to put in consideration. So let's register massively and let's come out and vote massively. Then your voice will be heard. With those few remarks, once again, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to be with us here at Brother Benson Media and have conversation. And I believe one time when the history of this country will be written, we will find ourselves somewhere. It will not be like written somewhere, but there will be somebody somewhere will be mentioning our name somewhere, that I listen to so and so, I listened to this channel and this one changed my mind. And that is a good history. So that's why I keep on saying that we will be part of that history. And always, I look always forward that we have discussions that is going to impact on the voters, because like we've talked so much about these leaders, so much that sometimes is their prescription, because they're politicians, this is their job. Yeah. But now let us focus our conversation to the people who are making decision, especially if you saw the mothers who are given 2,000 and you divide them, they get like 64. And that mother of mine has spent like around maybe how many hours, just to be in that meeting. It beat the logic, Why then should I go for 64 yet I can go to the shamba and nilime? Unaona? So ni ile, na pia naomba wale ambao labda wanataka mabadiliko, be a good ambassador to your village, go a good ambassador to your family. Yeah, give good direction. If you are blessed, because people are blessed in different ways, there are those who are blessed that you can talk to somebody and convince them. Kindly do that, because that one also, you are building your country. Yeah, and also your leadership. So you become a good ambassador to your country, you become a good ambassador to your people, and you become a good ambassador to where you are. Where you are should reflect who you are. Try to bring those good information. Try to make sure the information that you give are factual. Don't just give information if you feel you want a better country. So that is my only take. And with those few remarks, once again, thank you so much for being with us for almost 2 hours, 30 minutes. We don't take it for granted, and may God bless you. This is Brother Benson Media.